Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Patcast. I am Landon West.
I'm Tyler Bennett.
As you can tell, because there's someone missing right here who has a glare on their head, Chuck is somewhere between here and St. Louis, unable to make the time schedule this week, but hey, it happens. I think this is the first time he's missed, so I guess everybody gets one. So, but as always, we have Monk filling in, and he's going to be quite the connoisseur of conversation today. So, Chuck, we miss you, but get back safe, and we'll see you tomorrow night in Patriot Middle School Arena over there. So I guess it's more of a gym. They really don't like the term arena over there, do they?
No, they don't.
But speaking of arena, they played in one last Tuesday night in Paragould against Greene County Tech, and it was a fantastic game for our Lady Patriots, Monk, as they defeated the Lady Golden Eagles, I guess is what they're going by, in a three-set sweep. You got to go there and you recorded our delayed stream for Patcast, and tell me how that went for our ladies over there.
Well, it was really good to have the first game of the year kind of be your longest road trip of the year, just so you can get it out of the way early. But the girls were ready for this matchup against Greene County Tech. Apparently they got some kind of a tip that Greene County Tech was ready for them, and they had the scouting report on how to beat them. They said Marion was extremely blockable, so
yeah.
So that was the main thing. Is like, you know,
how did that turn out for them?
The game plan didn't work out too well for Greene County Tech.
Yeah.
I think we had some final scores of Marion 25-19, then Marion 25-16, then Marion 25-10. So it took them a little bit of time to get readjusted. It's obviously going to. It's your first actual game of the season, so you knew there was going to be a little bit of rust. But the girls and the score shows that they got better with each set. Just really fun to see them get back out there in a game that actually matters.
The conversation the next day that I had indicated that maybe they were trying to go after our setters. Big mistake, really. You really don't want to target anyone. I promise the workload is even amongst all of them. That's why they're so good. There is not one particular just heads and tails standout on this team.
And the best thing about it for me is, like, they tend to learn from their mistakes. So you almost never see them get beat by the same thing twice in a set. Like if it's something tacky, like they'll touch the net, lose a point for that, you'll never see that again that set. So they limit their mistakes and just force their teams that they're playing to play perfect, and that's almost impossible to go against.
One of the things that I think is interesting, only having done one away game now that you can talk about this, is the new schedule. And we're talking about on a night-by-night here. Our girls, it seemed like that night, they weren't starting until 8 o'clock or so. And how do you feel about that as a spectator? As a fan? As
a spectator, it's part of the territory just because you will have the 7th grade and 8th grade and junior high teams going on after that. So
and they're doing fantastic,
they're
too.
They're doing really good.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I've never been more impressed by a junior high volleyball team than we were when I got to see them finally, just because there's been all this hype around them behind a junior high volleyball team. But it just goes with the territory. You'll see it in the basketball games, too. You're going to have to sit through maybe a junior high game, maybe a JV game to get to the varsity teams, but it's worth it in the end. And the main thing about that is, I don't have any problem with it just because we're not going to have the mountain home trip anymore. If you weren't going to play until 9 o'clock and you had to travel back from mountain home, we have a problem. So if if Greene County Tech's your longest road trip, I've really got no problem with that.
There appears to be some kind of trade-off this year with this schedule. The varsity B team doesn't get to play 2 sets. They only play 1. However, your junior high and 7th grade, they're playing much higher caliber teams more consistently. So, yes, there's a little bit of a trade-off, but I think this helps the future immensely, this style. And then on Thursday night, Lady Patriots welcome in old conference rival Wynne. Now, this is a team that they have played consistently over the years. However, it was a non-conference event. Now, with this, it is the 5A, 6A East mashup of conference. So it did have some conference implications. And as we tweeted, it woke up some echoes from the turn of the century. It was a very well fought, clean game, I thought. Being rivals, extremely cordial, I thought, between the two. And first set, Lady Patriots absolutely dominated them, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
The second set, Wynne kept it interesting for a little while. And then the third one didn't keep it interesting nearly as long for a three-set sweep once again. And I thought it was very interesting how the strategies were quite varied between the teams. I felt like Marion was working on rotation a ton. I think that's because of what's coming up this week. And Wynne was just trying to roll with the punches. Trying to create a routine. And maybe just wasn't quite there, wasn't quite ready. But ultimately, Lady Patriots would sweep 3-0. And it turned out to be a great game. And after that game, the libero, Hope Phipps, was kind enough to join us. Here's some of the remarks that she had following the victory over Wynne.
Hope Phipps, who's graciously joined us on Patcast, a post-game interview. I promised I wouldn't do this, but you know what? These are professionals that we get to be blessed with at Marion. So let's ask her, a three-set sweep of Wynne. That's got to feel pretty good to start out at home, your second conference game win. How are you feeling right now? I can't imagine anything but great.
I mean, what can you say?
Right.
Win 3 in a row and you're done. It's a good start to the season, obviously.
How did you feel about your night tonight? We were commenting some incredible servings from you. One that you were being loving towards the audience, and we'll let you have one per season. So how do you feel you played tonight specifically?
I feel like I played pretty good. There's definitely room for improvement. There's always room for improvement.
Always, yeah. So talking about the libero position, how critical do you think that played tonight? Because you had some tall girls, or at least one from Wynne. How much of a workout did libero specifically give you?
It's a lot of running back, forth, up, and down. I mean, I get a lot of help from my blocks, so they work really hard for me.
So and you get to clean up what they do, and best people to clean up for. So next week, a new challenge for you.
Yep.
3 conference games in 1 week. Forest City, Valley View, and I forget who Thursday is. But
Paragould.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
big week.
Okay, so yeah, you're being thrown into the gauntlet a little bit. How much prep do you think about for next week specifically? Because it's one of 2 weeks with 3.
Well, we're probably going to be pretty tired throughout the week, so we just got to keep pushing through. I thought we were off to a pretty good start today, and all we can do is just build off of that. I think we'll be fine.
Do you think that these late start times are having any impact on y'all whatsoever?
Definitely, yeah.
How do you think that's working for y'all?
I mean, we're all tired. We're all just ready to kind of like, when the game starts at 8 o'clock and it gets done at like 9, I mean, it's...
Right, but y'all take care of yourselves pre-game to be well rested.
Oh yeah, we take pre-game naps.
Okay, just
pretty nice.
Typical high school senior things. So,
yeah.
Any questions for Monk?
I was just wondering about this physical style of play that you have, just because the libero is a difficult position to play. Plus, we see you had the game against Valley View. It's just a 1 set, doesn't mean anything, and you're running into the stands making all these difficult plays. How do you keep yourself relaxed and just ready and in tip-top shape for every game?
I mean, I do it for my team, mainly. It's always for my team, always for my people. I always want to give them the best pass, and I'll do anything to get it.
Yeah. So with a week like next week, what does it look like for practice with y'all? Is there a 7th period practice, or is there any kind of conditioning going on? What, give our people at home, what does it look like a typical week in conference form?
Well, we don't go as hard as we usually do because, we're trying to save our arms, trying to save our legs, but we'll definitely do some conditioning just to stay in shape, and a lot of serve receive and just the basics.
So definitely looking forward to the challenges coming up this week, and very happy about tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to beat Wynne, isn't it?
Always good.
It's always good. It's nice that it's a conference win.
And our thanks again to Hope for sitting down with us or standing with us and discussing what was going on. As she mentioned briefly, this week is quite the test. I can't recall a time when we had 3 games in a week that wasn't a Saturday tournament, let alone 3 conference games. And 2 of these are going to be absolute knockdown dragouts, I think. Let's take a look at the schedule this week, as the Lady Patriots tomorrow night at the middle school will welcome in a Lady Mustang team from Forest City High School. Now, this Lady Mustang team is not known for volleyball. The words that Chuck used to describe it would, just kind of be a bit of a spike fest for us. However, you certainly don't want to overlook anyone, and I don't think that our Lady Patriots will. What kind of perspective do you think they'll have with tomorrow night's game?
I mean, you just got to treat it like it's another business trip, even though it is going to be at home. You got to just treat this like it's business. You definitely can't underestimate any opponent on this league, because you'll be surprised who can surprise you if you let your guard down. You definitely don't want an upset, so girls just got to treat it, like it's another really good conference team.
I think that will happen, and I think that these girls will know that they have to keep things a little bit moderate against Forest City, though, because the next night, oh boy, traveling to Valley View, that's not the easiest thing in the world that they'll ever do. Some of these girls are in multiple AP classes. I'm not sure they can hold a candle to traveling to Valley View. What do you think about this contest?
You got the one set win at home, and that's definitely a huge bit of confidence booster for you. But it's also going to be motivation for Valley View. You're going into their gym, defending 5A champions. These girls are going to be looking for revenge out there in their gym. So the most important thing is just finish the Forest City game early. Get you some rest. Get anything you need, ice down. Get you a good night's sleep before then, and just be ready to melt some faces in Valley View.
Yeah, and the good news is that the night against Forest City is actually shorter. I can't remember if it's 7th grade or junior high B or something. One of those is missing. It makes it a little bit shorter. But for this game, I think that the key has got to be just streak management. Because volleyball, when you have two teams that are extremely competitive, it comes down to who has momentum longest, I think. If the Lady Patriots can keep this at a game that kind of goes back and forth, maybe 2 points, 1, 3, 2, something like that, they'll be great. They'll do absolutely fine. We saw in the game against Valley View at our place that it was, at one point they had scored like 12 out of 14, and ultimately that would prove to be the difference. But we're talking about one set here against a Valley View team that maybe was riding a little bit of a high from team camp, where they defeated the Lady Patriots. So let's hope that false sense of security doesn't fall on our team. I don't think it will. These girls have been doing this for a very long time. So for me, I think that this is just a game of score and time management. If they can keep it to a back and forth game, or just a small streak for them but have an answer, I think that they'll be surprised what they're able to accomplish.
I definitely think a back and forth game definitely benefits the Lady Patriots, just because Valley View looked like a team that if they get on a run, then that's it for the set. So, as long as you keep trading points with them back and forth, I think the Lady Pats are going to get more of those points than Valley View and end up walking out with the W.
I don't think there's any team that deserves any greater respect than Valley View with this new 5A, 6A conference. Playing them very early, and we're playing them on the second night of a back-to-back. So I think one of these keys that we talked about is going to be management against Forest City. Now, on the flip side of this, Valley View is going to have to do the same thing. Everybody plays a Monday night tomorrow night. So whomever their opponent is, they have got to play management against them as well. Because if you look at it right now, I'm not sure there is an underdog in this contest. So hopefully that plays well into our hands. I'm not sure that we've been an underdog in a long time. Maybe against North Little Rock last year, but that would be about it.
Plus, the most important thing is you can't walk into their gym intimidated. It's so good to respect your opponent, but not fear them. Because if you fear them, you've already lost.
I don't think that there's an ounce of fear within any of our girls, especially what they're able to accomplish. They've proven they've been able to accomplish. And I mean, just you've seen Gabby Cat after a block. There's no fear in any of them. So I think that it's going to be a fantastic game. But it doesn't get any easier Thursday night. I don't know who came up with this schedule. Thursday night, traveling to Paragould to play a Lady Rams team that last year provided a top 10 in the state matchup for senior night as a non-conference game last year. Things are a lot different with this game this year. Lady Rams have a new coach. That coach used to play for the Patriots, Reed Fogelman, a very well-known name around here. And it's had an interesting dynamic so far. One that, has been cordial, but certainly there's been a little bit of a spice to it. So what do you think about having to play on Thursday a very talented, senior-heavy Paragould team?
Well, Paragould, they definitely want to beat Marion, and Marion definitely wants to beat them. Not like it's any kind of bad blood or anything like that. I think it's just kind of like this, like I keep saying, you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, and Paragould wants to beat the man. Right now, the big dog, the king of the hill, is the Marion Patriots, and if the Paragould Rams want to try and take that spot, you got to go through the best. So that's what they're going to be looking for. For our Lady Pats, the main thing is just going to be, here's another contender here. You want them out of the picture, you got to squash them early. So this is just a chance for the Lady Patriots to build on to their already growing early season momentum.
And certainly, I think that that's true. You have a Paragould team that really wants to prove themselves. I think they were a little bit disappointed with how they ended up last year, not making it to the title game in 5A, and certainly had the talent to do it. There are several names that if you were to say them, I would identify them as Paragould Rams because they were that good. But it's a really interesting game now because you look for bulletin board material for coaches to motivate their players, and believe it or not, Paragould actually supplied some, as if Marion needed it. But they did end up doing that. So I think that our girls are going to be extremely motivated against Paragould. I think that Paragould will be extremely motivated against us just because they're familiar with us, and now they got a coach that has made it well known that her intention is, not to let the fact that she's an alumna affect how she plays, and she's ready to, quote, take us down. So good luck.
She can try.
Yeah, you have every right to try. And you know what? You may. I doubt it. But it's a very competitive league. Anything can happen any night, I think. But again, all the confidence in the world is on our side, I think, especially with the recent success of our team, having gone to 2 straight finals, 3 or 4 straight semifinals. So I think that when the pressure is on, that's when the girls do good, and all of a sudden there's a little bit more pressure on this game. So.
Yeah, and if you're talking about pressure, how can you get more pressure than 2 state championship games in a row? Lady Patriots know what pressure feels like. I don't think they're going to have that much pressure against Paragould.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a great resume enhancer for either team to win this one. And it's the first of 2, so you got to keep that in mind. But I think that it'll be a great thing, and it's going to be a tough and long week, especially for us, as we will be streaming Valley View and Paragould. So we're going to be on the road quite a bit, but that's good, getting to support these girls and finding some, maybe some Ron's catfish or something in Jonesboro. So let's do the fast take score predictions. Chuck will be joining us via something or another, probably just a video. So Chuck, what do you think for Forest City?
In my opinion, the Forest City game, I don't know much about Forest City volleyball. And usually that's not a good thing. The reputation's not quite there, and I think the Lady Pats they're feeling pretty good. 2-0 start last week. They got a big road win at Greene County Tech, and then they beat Wynne. So I think that at home, I think this is number 25 straight, and I think that it could get ugly for Forest City. So I'm gonna go Forest City. Marion in 3 straight over Forest City there.
And I think for Forest City, it's going to be 3-0. Not particularly close, and it might be maybe a little bit closer than some of the Wynne ones, but just because they're playing some management of the game, getting ready for the next night.
I'm going to say Lady Patriots in 3 sets. Forest City historically has some tall girls on their team, but I don't think that affects the score in any way. Patriots in 3.
They have a good reputation, our girls, of shutting down tall girls. Certainly did it against the tall girl from Greenwood in the championship game, Valley View in the Jamboree, and the other night against Wynne. So now for the toughie, Valley View. Chuck, how do you think this one's going to go?
We've talked about Valley View. We talked about what they're about. We know what they do. It's a deal now where it's sort of nut cutting time, right? Like you have to, you're on the court, you're on the road, you got to play them, see what they're doing. And I think this one's going to be a war. This is at Jonesboro, at Valley View, the site last year where Diane Phillips hurt her knee. That was not it was not great. But I'm going to go Lady Pats on this one. I think they're going to be ready. I'm going to say Lady Pats in 4 sets, and it'll be a key win, but I think there'll be some tense moments for sure.
All right. This one's really tough. I think this one's really tough. And I think that the Lady Patriots go into Valley View, and personally, I feel like they will be riding enough momentum that they do get a 3-0 sweep. Now, I think some of those may be 29-27s, but needless to say, I'm going to go ahead and say that will be a sweep, but it will be much closer than 3-0 appears. Monk?
I think Valley View gets the first set at home, but that's about it. I'm liking the Lady Patriots in a 3-1 win over Valley View.
All right. Now for Paragould. Like we've talked about, a very worthy opponent. Chuck, how do you feel about Paragould?
They'll be ready for that one, a road test, and I think they'll, I don't think that this early in the season, the 3 games in a week really will affect them that much. I think it could later on, especially after they play like one of these weekend tournaments and you end up playing like 9 or 10 times in a week, but I don't know that that'll be the case with this one. So Lady Pats in 3. Lady Rams may hit 20 in one of the sets, just sort of, at home, fired up, playing hard, trying to give the home fans something to look at.
For me, I think Paragould may be the bigger challenge than Valley View because it's later in the week. You're on the road. You've waited all day. And this one might be where you get some fatigue in there. So I'm going to say Lady Patriots in 4 against Paragould. I'm not going to say that they're going to lay in the weeds or rest at all in Paragould, but I think that they will be so up for Valley View that's where they get that 3-0 sweep I talked about. But Paragould, not sleeping on them at all, but maybe just a little bit of just a little bit off of the accelerator, and it might be just enough for Paragould to sneak a set. So, Monk?
I think that's a really good pick right there. Completely agree with everything you say, and I completely agree with the outcome too. 3-1 win for the Patriots.
All right. So obviously 3 up, 3 down. That's how we feel this is going to go. And chances are, if you feel like you can win on the road at Paragould and win on the road at Valley View, you might not be losing at all this season. So that's a really, really bold prediction to make right now. I'm not making it, but
getting our way too early picks out of the way.
Yeah, just saying that the possibility is there. So I think this will be a great week, and we be there. Look forward to it. We'll stream it for you if you can't make it. We understand. So support all you can. And from that, we transition now into talking about football. While you were in Greene County Tech the other night, I was in Gosnell for the benefit game that saw the Patriots come out big time. They were ready to go. The offense was on all cylinders, capable of big plays at any moment. The defense was suffocating, allowing 0 points all night. The only team that scored between Paragould, Gosnell, and Marion was Marion. Paragould and Gosnell ended in a 0-0 tie. The reason I want to tell you that is because you got to realize that Paragould and Gosnell are not exactly powerhouses. Gosnell was last year for 4A. They had a huge running back from Carlos Blackman, who's at UCA now. The Rams have been down traditionally in recent years, and I think that maybe a little bit of that showed up against them, but I want to give the Patriots all the credit in the world because we had Colin Chambers, who had 3 touchdown completions via the air raid. It was incredible to see how far Jacob Green was throwing to him. And then on another play, he out-juked his defenders out in the flat and managed to score on that. Tom Young got it going with a huge, almost 60-yard run. And then the defense stepped up big time with several scoop and scores. Obviously, we would have the stats if Chuck were here, but he's our statistician just as much as he is for the Evening Times, where he's sports editor. And I think that one of the things we learned that night was we are a lot more ready this year than years past. How do we transition that into a win victory this week?
I'm ready for some football. Lane.
Yes, finally, we're here.
The main thing that you can say is, as a coach, you can ride off that momentum that you got in Gosnell. Show the guys, hey, this is some stuff that we did against some good teams that worked with these 2 teams. So we're going to try and keep on doing it. Of course, Wynne's going to see the film too from the Gosnell scrimmage, and they're going to be looking at that too. But it is going to be interesting to see. One of the more impressive things that I saw was in the video that you posted on the Patcast Twitter page. He posted a video of the first touchdown pass from Green to Colin Chambers. And most of the time you see something like 53-yard touchdown, and it's actually like a 20-yard throw, and then the receiver does the rest. Mm-hmm. Jacob probably ended up throwing it about 45 yards. Mm-hmm. So that was a legit 53-yard touchdown.
And the best part about that is we know he can throw farther. So he reined it in a little bit. It was really good.
And then if something, we're not saying, and we definitely don't want anything to happen to Green, but if something does, we've got a more than capable backup in Peyton Walker. Again, you won't like that your quarterback is also one of your starting and key players on defense, but it is good that you have a backup like that. So again, I love this defense, this small yet fast and aggressive defense. It kind of reminds me of how I played when I was the scout team star, the scout team MVP. So I love this style of play that our defense is showing. I love the intensity that our offense has out there every play, and the playmaking ability of Tom Young just neutralizes anything that the defense can do as far as our passing game. So I am really looking forward, and I cannot wait for football season to get started.
Well, we're here. And it's time to play Wynne, as we have done every year to begin the year since 2006, and every year before that we ended the year with them. So this is a very familiar opponent. However, in recent years they have taken a bit of a different approach. They always like the power I, and then when they got Chris Hill as a coach, they went out to the spread. It was so weird calling Wynne in a spread. Now they're back with another new coach. They're back to the flex bone. The flex bone was the formation that Gosnell ran. So, in my opinion, I think that Gosnell ended up being a really good rehearsal for Wynne. Is there a difference? Absolutely. I feel like Wynne has a far more experienced team, probably a bigger team, more physical. But I think that it was a great rehearsal. Coach Magolio, his defensive line stepped up big time. If there was any yardage to be gained by Gosnell, it was, in the one and the other side in those holes. So I think that there's a lot to be said about I call it Magolio's monsters, because they're tough, they're physical. And then you've got, Coach Smith's secondary that was just absolutely stifling the other night. So I think that against a team that runs flex bone, the safeties and the secondary will certainly turn into more of the linebacker position. And I think that they'll be ready for that challenge. So, but always willing to be ready for a pass.
Plus, with the flex bone that Gosnell ran, I know it's not exactly like Wynne's going to do it, but there is a hidden importance in that. You're not hitting your own players anymore. Marion, of course, is a spread team, and it is weird for a spread team to practice with themselves against a team like Wynne, especially with the offense that they run. But now that you're seeing a completely different team that runs it on a day-to-day basis, somebody that knows what they're doing when they run this offense, it definitely gives you more of an advantage when you do play a team that plays it better.
Right.
You're not going against yourself the whole time. You're actually hitting other people and who know what this offense is about.
And that's huge. So I think that this is going to be a very interesting game. Time for your fast take score predictions. Chuck, how do you feel about Marion at Wynne?
Unfortunately, I picked Wynne in my preseason picks, and this was before I'd seen Marion in their scrimmage, but I've got to stay true to my picks. So I'm going to say Wynne in a close one, maybe even the opposite of last year's game. Give me Wynne like 24-21, and I'm sorry, Patriot Nation. I'm so sorry. Don't hate me.
For my prediction, I think that this is one I don't like picking against Marion. But the history says this is a game that we lose because we've gone back and forth so many times in recent years. For whatever reason, we can't win over there and they can't win over here. But I really don't like picking against Marion, especially after seeing the benefit game and their abilities and seeing how their offense works last year here when Wynne lost in the final seconds. I think Marion's improved a ton over last year. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game too. But I think Marion does come out on top 17-7. Now, you're thinking, wait, you just chose a score with a field goal. I never did that last year. I refused to do it last year. However, this year, Bradford Doherty is a spectacular kicker, and I think that he is going to do fantastic at his position of kicker this year. So I think that he will be called upon and he will succeed.
One of the things about my predictions last year was I always included a missed field goal because a missed extra point, because I always felt like that was going to be a factor in there. But not this year. And as far as my pick goes, I do like Marion to score and to score a lot. The defense, they're going to have some trouble readjusting at first, but other than that, I don't see any problem with it. I like Marion in a 35-21 win over the Jackets.
Man, and I'm the one that likes the track meets. All right. Well, that's good. So Patriot Nation, get out over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a fun place to be. The stands are a little bit different. Monk's not a big fan of it.
Not a fan.
But I like different things. And like I said, go eat at Kelly's. Some good catfish and chicken on there. So I think it'll be a great opening night. And you'll just need some bug spray for it. That's about it. So any final thoughts, volleyball, football for you, Monk?
Just for the volleyball team, I'd say just keep on doing what you're doing. You shouldn't have to adjust too much to what the other teams are doing. You should be making the other teams adjust to you. And I'm just ready for some football, man. That's about it. I'm ready for some football.
Yeah. And as far as volleyball goes, just keep on keeping on. It's working. You don't need the name Valley View or Paragould to scare you out of whatever you know to be what works for you. So, and for football, hey, it's finally here, guys. Go grab it by the horns and get off to a strong start. And I think that this community will definitely be behind you 100%, win or lose. But on behalf of Marion, we obviously like the wins just as much as you do. So, but we don't like that win. So let the rivalry be born again. So on behalf of the still blocked Chuck Livingston, I'm Landon West.
I'm Tyler Bennett.
And we'll see you next week for episode 4 of the Patcast, hopefully with a couple more victories under our belt.
Go Pats.